Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
And to you, good day.
Good day to you as well. It's great to be here for round 2.
Oh, all right.
My first question is, do you know the questions I'm going to ask before I ask them?
Nope.
Okay. Second question.
Why should I need to? Unless synchronicity gives me the information, which then tells me I needed to know it.
So on time to time, you would hear my question before I ask it?
Sometimes we will just know that an answer of a certain type needs to be given, and we will have that information for you when the question is asked, because we will know in your terms ahead of time that such a question would come up. But that's just synchronicity in action.
And when I wear the Essassani crystal,
yes,
do you and your people, are you able to read my mind and experience what I'm experiencing?
There's no such thing as reading your mind. Do you understand our definition of this, of telepathy?
I would love you to reiterate and explain.
Telepathy is not reading someone else's mind. Telepathy is being on the same wavelength as them and having the same thoughts at the same time. That's why people who are in love often know what each other are thinking, because they're on a similar wavelength, not because they're reading each other's minds. That's an old-fashioned, outdated definition.
I understand what you're saying. So if we're thinking at the same wavelength, we have the same thought patterns that we're thinking at the same time.
Yes.
But is that different from you thinking something else and then viewing into my mind and understanding what I'm thinking?
We can read your energy patterns as you're giving them off, but that's something that's just an observation. It's not reading your mind. It's not even really telepathy. We are just observing energy patterns as we perceive them that are radiating from you, in the same way you would look at a red rose and say, well, that rose is red. It's just an observation.
That makes sense. So you're saying that you just observe what we're observing at the same time in a way.
We observe the energy patterns coming off, and we know how to read them. We know how to interpret them in our reality, and then that translates back to some of the information that we're giving with you.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
And then when you're in the channel's body,
I'm not in the channel's body. That's an outdated, old-fashioned description that is not an accurate description of the mechanism involved. What is happening is exactly what I just told you. There's no room in anyone's body for anyone else.
No, I understand. Yeah.
We are now resonating in a harmonious frequency that allows the channel's mind to translate the thoughts in my mind, because we're on a similar wavelength.
Yeah, I understood that. I just used the wrong labels to describe it.
Well, it's not wrong. It's just old-fashioned.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's inaccurate as a description of the mechanism.
Okay. And then when the Galactic Federation and the Yael come up with plans to contact the humans here on this planet,
they already have their plans.
I understand that. Did they communicate with the consciousness of the Earth and also the consciousness of the Sun? And did they get their opinion on, going forward for these plans? And if so, what did they say?
They are always taking readings to make adjustments according to what serves the best of all concerned. And that takes into account multiple levels of consciousness.
So they're tapping into multiple levels of consciousness on the Earth and the Sun? And
the entire solar system, your entire reality, to make sure that the interactions will be as effective as they need to be and serve everyone best.
Okay, I understand. Is there also races and beings that don't do this and just have these plans and ideas and want to impose them onto our people?
Do you mean like the people of your planet?
That's correct.
Yes, of course there are some.
So there is definitely a difference between people that actually connect with the consciousness of the Earth and the Sun, as opposed to people that just come up with plans, have all these ideas of what they want to do when they contact us.
Yes, there are many different approaches based on many different kinds of intelligences and the way that they perceive things, the way they think things through, the way they relate to things. However, most extraterrestrial races know nothing about you.
And, well, obviously, the majority of them don't.
Yes.
But the ones that are studying us,
the ones that are involved, for the most part, are connecting into multiple levels of consciousness.
I see what you mean, okay. And then I just want to get your perspective on how like, some organizations and groups within the galactic community actually make like synthetic layers of dimensions and then basically have other beings go into those layers, and they think they're ascending, they think they're going to higher densities, but the reality is they're still playing in that construct of like that system. So
that can take many forms and can be used for a variety of purposes. We ourselves, in our reality, actually have a version of that idea. It's part of our first contact training. The more evolved, the more experienced first contact specialists, when they are training young first contact specialists, will create a reality, an interdimensional reality that seems very much like a normal reality, and allow the inexperienced first contact specialists to, well, have a go at it and see what works and what doesn't work without any danger of actually causing harm to another civilization. It's kind of like a very strong virtual reality in the consciousness sort of experience.
Right. And there are like plenty of beings that, fully think that they're ascending, but there is like a whole nother layer outside of that, so to speak. So you have like the grand arena where a lot of people think they're ascending through different dimensions, but then it goes way beyond that.
Yes.
Do you believe
there are any other kinds of experiences like that in a variety of different perspectives throughout creation?
Okay. And do you believe that you exist beyond consciousness?
Beyond consciousness?
Yes, like beyond that concept.
Well, again, the fundamental basic is existence itself. Therefore, there is nothing more fundamental than that. So, while we could say, well, all right, we can answer your question by saying, yes, of course, we exist beyond consciousness. That doesn't mean we ever become unaware, because existence itself is aware of itself.
Right. No, that makes sense. But is it possible to not be aware outside the universe and like have a different experience like that?
The only thing that is unaware is the one. Everything else, by definition, is a reflection of the one, and therefore, because it's a reflection, it's self-aware.
And do you believe it's possible to exist outside the one?
That is not possible, because there is nothing but the one.
Is it possible that, maybe we're infinite outside the one?
You're not understanding the concept. There is no outside to the one. The one is infinite.
Okay, I see what you mean. So the one that you're describing is the infinite concept that I'm referring
yes,
to. Okay,
there is nothing outside of it. There is no concept of an outside to it. It just is, and it is infinite.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right.
My understanding is that I would exist, beyond the creator of this universe, and I'm just participating in this universe.
Yes. There are multiverses, many different kinds of dimensions beyond the one that you're experiencing in this focus of space-time reality. But nothing can go beyond the one. There is no beyond.
So it's impossible to be disconnected.
The concept of beyond is within the one. There is no such thing as a beyond the one. Beyond is a concept within the one. And there is nothing else outside. There is no outside.
Yeah, because these are all concepts within
the one.
The one structure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Does that help?
No, that's a great answer. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
And then just a quick personal question.
Yes.
As far as I'm trying to build a business on my, with my team and stuff.
Yes.
How, based on how you're reading my energy now and, the people I interact with on a daily basis.
Yes.
How open would you say they are to this type of information and receiving it?
Well, in general, they are open, but there may not be the same degree of interpretation in everyone. Everyone is going through a different process of understanding and relating to these kinds of ideas in their own way. So if there is a collective understanding of supporting a process and different processes moving at different rates, then within that collective bubble, you can move forward together as long as you support the different rates going on within the collective bubble.
Okay, that makes, I understand what you mean.
All right.
So it's just following the process and really figuring out what's the best time to talk about these sorts of topics and also see if they're open to them as well.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's all about clarity of communication. Remember that in many cases on your planet, difficulty and struggle comes mostly from what is not said rather than from what is said. As long as you have the intention for things to be as clear as possible and communication to be as precise as possible, then you will intuitively know by following your own synchronicity when the things that need to be said and how to say them. It will flow.
Perfect. And then what?
There is no and then.
There is no and then?
There is no and then.
Okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Can I ask one more question?
There is no and then.
There is
You
no
have
and
what
then?
you need right now,
Okay.
is what we're saying.
So you don't want me to ask any more questions? I get it.
It's not about whether we want you to or not. We are sensing that there is other information that's going to come to you from other sources that are not our job to give you.
Fair enough.
So move along.
I appreciate your time. Thanks, Bashar. I love you.
Thank you. We appreciate your timelessness.
Hello.
And a you good day.
I'm so excited. It's 333 right now.
Oh, all right.
That is
We
so
are excited too.
I like 3.
Oh, I mean, we
3 is
are
kinda
excited
fun.
3.
I'm 3 excited as well.
Yes.
I am so high right now, Bashar. On life. I feel so high on life, and life is so ecstatic, and I feel so good.
All right.
At
So
the
do
end,
we.
I feel every time I see you, I get higher.
Well, you're not really seeing me, but I understand the sentiment.
Well,
Thank you.
Okay, you know, that's funny because every time I get higher with my vibration, I feel you more.
Yes.
Yes.
And get high enough, you will see us.
Yeah, you guys are like the coolest alien ninja friends ever because I know you guys are right there.
We are right
You
here.
are right there.
We are right here.
Yes.
Not there, here.
Here. Because everything exists here and now.
Here and now.
So
we
I
are
exist.
right here.
I am?
All of you.
Yes.
All of you. Pay attention to this. We are right here. We are in the illusion of separation closer than you think. You just need to make a slight adjustment in your frequency and talk about a surprise. We are right here. Just don't quite believe it yet.
Just a little pitch away?
Right there.
Thought so. Well, how exciting.
Yes, it is.
I had an experience with you one night. I was down in LA and you called me up to stage and you boom me in the face.
Yes.
And that night I didn't sleep, which was cool. I'm used to not sleeping.
Gave you an energy shot.
That's like part of my training is not sleeping, I guess. That's fun.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. And I danced all night. That helped.
Oh,
That helped.
all right.
But on the way home, I was struck. Like I've been getting these openings of the heart.
Yes.
And this was one of these times.
Yes.
And I was driving, and the radio, the stereo turned on right at the exact time as I had a huge heart flush
Yes.
of energy and emotion.
Yes.
And it turned on to a song that said exactly the vibrations that I was feeling.
Yes. Synchronicity in action.
And I felt my family
Yes.
and my ancestors.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was
Congratulations.
nice. And then it turned off.
Yes.
And then I cried.
All right.
And then I was like, no one's going to believe me.
Why
But
not?
that's okay. Who cares, right?
Yes, who
This is
cares?
all my psychomanium anyway.
All right.
Okay. One moment.
Yes.
So, you know, this being Tote came to me telling me about the genetics.
Yes. What
And
about
the
them?
markers would be turning on.
They are all turning on.
And
Different
I feel
rates.
such a buzz and such an amplification
It is
of energy.
very, very buzzy when they turn on, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Well put.
Okay. Can we buzz together?
We are buzzing together.
We are buzzing together right now.
We are always buzzing. We're waiting for you to catch up.
You know, so, like, oh my, yes. Well, you guys are just so much more matched, and that's why I love you so much.
We love you so much.
Because you are the greatest ninja sensei in cutting through all bullshit and manifestations that I do not desire. And thank you.
I think you are speaking of yourself.
Oh, thank you. I marvel your marvel, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
And everyone else. So, with the genetic amplification of energy turning on, I feel the things happening. And it's hitting the fan right now. And I see the train station that you speak of, the
Yes.
realities going apart. And I
Yes.
can see my friends in all the different directions and all the different trains leaving the station.
Yes.
And I see people going down ones they don't prefer.
I understand.
And that's okay.
Yes, it is.
And there's many beautiful, colorful trains people are going on
Yes.
of some kind of roller coaster.
Yes.
We're all going on different roller coasters right now, and it's like, whoa, you know. So I
Yes.
just want to ask them, go into the Earth Fear game of my most insane friends. Okay, thank you. So there's these things that was found in Saudi Arabia
Yes.
of the Ark of Gabriel.
And so?
And so Russia moved this to Antarctica.
We are not allowed to discuss this now.
How about the arches that will be constructed?
We are not allowed to discuss this now.
Or the stem cells?
We are not allowed to discuss this now.
Well, I guess the more we focus on that, we bring that reality in anyway, so we just need to
The more you focus on yourselves, you bring in the realities that are relevant for you.
Absolutely. So we should synchronize with ourselves in our highest excitement all the
Exactly.
time. Right, when you said synchronization is going to be the new currency,
Yes.
we said yes right at the same time, and I was like, whoa! And I'm like,
There
you know,
you go.
because I live my life like that, you know, like I'm a martial artist, I do that for a living, and I live my highest excitement, and it's how it happens, and I'm like, man, I've been coming to these things for 5 years, and I feel it's like been brain surgery, and I'm like,
It is.
and I feel more alien to humans, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I feel like I'm shifting into different realities. I'm like, whoa, you guys are going over there, I'm going over here. And that's okay, because I want to come surf on your wave for a while.
All right.
Is that okay?
Of course.
What are some things we can do together physically besides, not that physically?
We will discuss that at another time.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I believe we're actually reaching some of you.
Hello, Tadeo.
Hello, Nania.
We have about 20 minutes left, so can we call some more names? I mean, I'll ask a question for a Ustream person.
Yes. Do that first.
Okay. Well, actually, there's a few questions here. They're pretty interesting. One of them is, someone made the comment that the very high quality of Van Gogh's artwork was due to the fact that he had no ego. Can you comment on that statement?
Of course, he had an ego. You have to have an ego to be focused in physical reality. That's what an ego does. But he had what would be called a prismatic ego. In other words, we have explained that the prism of personality breaks down the white light, the unbroken light of your consciousness, into the spectrum of different things that form your space-time reality experience, such as beliefs and feelings and thoughts and behaviors and so on and so forth. But he had an interesting capability of re-reflecting back through the prism and bouncing that light around in such a way that he actually experienced a prismatic ego, where he could perceive different layers, different levels of dimensional consciousness within the structure of the physical space-time reality that his personality prism was creating. Did you understand that?
Well, I'm visually seeing the idea of the reflective prisms.
Imagine you see the prism, and in the classical definition or illustration, you have the white light going through, being bent, and then broken into the visible spectrum, yes? Mm-hmm. In his case, let's just say there was a special coating on that prism so that not only did the light go through and break into the spectrum of his space-time reality experience, but some of it reflected back and bounced around inside the prism, coloring the way that the white light got filtered so that he would be viewing reality in a prismatic way, multidimensionally.
I think what I just got was the reason that he went crazy was because he didn't know how to define his experience in a way that would allow him to stay connected with society in a normal way.
Yes. That's why you know, and have had the saying for some time, that the line between genius and madness is very thin. The genius is one who knows how to channel the craziness in a way that's relevant for himself herself, and the society. The madness comes when there aren't the tools to allow that to be integrated into the personality in a way that makes sense to the mass consensus, even though there can still be attributes of it that the mass consensus can still appreciate, such as his art.
So it just seems very important to stay connected with the mass consensus in a way that allows you to act as a bridge.
Well, whether it's important or not depends on the relevance of being able to do so or needing to do so for that particular individual. Just because some individuals, just to use your term for now loosely, go crazy, doesn't mean that that's not the path they've chosen.
Right, because they also have a right to experience what it's like to go crazy. So
Absolutely.
you don't necessarily know if the person is choosing to go crazy because that's what they incarnated to
Yes.
experience, or they actually require assistance to bridge.
Correct.
So how do you tell the difference?
Well, the more tools you have in your society to recognize that either can happen, the more tools an individual will have to apply to themselves to be able to bring themselves into whatever balance or imbalance is actually relevant for them in that line.
I think that's why the map that you've shared of our existence here and how to approach it
Yes.
has been so incredibly helpful to so many people, because before that it just seemed like there was all these different viewpoints and none of it really was
Yes.
integrated.
And we are
fully.
assisting the channel at this point to help break this down even further for the upcoming unified theory of metaphysics class,
Right.
so that you can really dig deep into understanding these mechanisms.
It's definitely more fun to be here when you understand these concepts.
Yes, it is.
I believe at one time you talked about the idea of a coffee pot, that if you understand existence, it's similar to understanding how to make a good cup of coffee.
Yes. You have all the balance of ingredients
Right.
so that it's not too bitter or too sweet, but just right.
That's really good. Another person asked, if you shift to a world which you prefer, with a lot less negativity,
Yes.
who is going to inspire the people who haven't shifted yet?
There are always going to be those that inspire, because again, remember, once you cross a threshold where you no longer have any negative belief systems to let go of, you will still divest yourself of things. They will simply be things, even though they may no longer be negative, that are no longer relevant for you. So it will still be a process of streamlining, and there will always still be those who can inspire you to streamline further, 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 and further.
Nice. And do plants and animals also have an indestructible core?
Absolutely. Everything does.
Right. Because doesn't it really come down to the idea that everything has its own point of view and
Yes.
is its own, it's the eyes of God. Everyone is
Everything
an eye of
is
God.
a point of view. Yes. Everything is a point of view. It doesn't even have a point of view. Everything is a point of view of all that is.
So when we talk about sentience and we talk about self-awareness,
Yes.
the idea is that all animals actually have a type of self-awareness.
Absolutely. As we said, even if it's only the idea of the difference between themselves and an other, you have to have a sense of self in order to recognize otherness as different from yourself. So that's still a sense of self, even if it's not expressed quite in the same way that other species, such as yourselves, might choose to do so.
And so the way that an animal experiences itself and other allows it to be very deeply integrated with the natural system on the planet and
Yes.
experience nature in a very intense way.
Yes.
Whereas we've moved in a direction where we feel that we've lost that feeling of connection with nature.
Well, you're creating belief systems with your self-referential system that are not always in alignment with who you truly naturally are, and therefore that can create a kind of a filter that creates a sensation of separation.
So now they're starting to recognize that not only do some animals like whales and dolphins and chimpanzees and
Yes.
elephants have self-awareness, but they also experience empathy.
Yes.
And so the relationship between self-awareness and empathy.
Self-awareness and empathy are connected in the sense of knowing that the self is also a reflection of the other, and that the other is a reflection of the self, that you are different expressions of one thing, and therefore you can be empathic because you recognize that each is a reflection of the other.
Okay, so let's do that with elephants, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so an elephant sees another elephant that's in trouble.
Yes.
And it goes over and it wants to help the other elephant.
Yes.
What is that elephant experiencing in terms of who it is?
The animals of that nature instinctively understand that service to others is service to self, because even though they have a self-identity, on a fundamental level, they empathically recognize and instinctively and intuitively recognize that all is one. So any service to any part of the one is a service to the self as well.
Okay, and that's part of that herd phenomenon
In a
and
sense,
the connection
yes.
of the family that
Yes.
they experience. But
Yes.
then there was like a video of a tortoise seeing another tortoise on its back,
Yes.
struggling to get up.
Yes.
And the other tortoise walked over and flipped the other tortoise over.
Yes.
So is that a different kind of empathy?
It is empathy, but it is expressed in a slightly different way. In that particular case, the empathy is expressed as a recognition of, well, to use your term, misalignment. There's a misalignment in what should naturally be expressed. Do you understand?
Yes, so
Because they can sense the natural structure, and they sense a misalignment in the natural structure. Now, not that the idea of misalignments can't in and of themselves be used as alignments for certain purposes. But in general, they are intuitive enough and sensitive enough to realize the natural structure that exists in every situation, to see the difference between the structure that is natural and one that has become misaligned. And therefore, they feel the urge toward realigning it.
sounds like an OCD human.
I suppose, in a sense, you could say that the experience you call OCD is an exaggerated version of that.
Yeah, like if everything's not in order the way it should be, it feels uncomfortable.
Yes, but of course, in most cases, the reason that humans express that is because there's something out of order within them.
Right. Okay, so what you're really sharing with us right now is that different animals have different levels of self-awareness.
Yes.
And empathy.
Different expressions of it.
Expressions of it.
Yes.
And that it may come from a different place depending on the developmental awareness of the particular animal.
Well, in a sense, yes, but more dependent upon, rather than looking at it as developmental awareness, more on what's relevant for their awareness.
Okay.
Because again, remember, to put it simply, many people on your planet may think a dog or a cat are less intelligent than a human. They're not. It's just that they're expressing all their intelligence to be a cat.
Yeah, because they're on the cat channel, and on the cat
Exactly.
channel, it's like really interesting to smell
Yes.
other cats and like
Yes.
chase stuff.
So
and-
compared to a human who attempts to be a cat is a genius at being a cat. So the intelligence is just expressed in a way that is specialized. It doesn't mean that they're not as smart, as intelligent as a human. It's just that their intelligence is specialized and a human's is more generalized.
And I know that one of the things we've talked about is that many animals actually express what you could call superpowers.
Well, yes.
And really, they're like our library to show us how to incorporate
Yes.
these abilities within ourselves.
All the things of the world, the rocks, the trees, the animals, are libraries of information. If, in some way, shape, or form, you decide to eliminate one of them from your physical reality, you are losing volumes of information that you now have to access in a completely different way.
Should we go on, or is that enough?
That is enough.
So do you want any more names?
At this timing, we will give you an opportunity to take a short break, whereupon we will then commence with your holotope meditation. Enjoy a short break.
Okay. Thank you, Tadeo.
How's it going?
All right, we will continue the transmission in the following way. Allow us to briefly recap. You have your 15-minute time span, which is the time in which, generally speaking, the neurological pathways go from plasticity to hardwiring themselves with a new idea. And with every single thought, with every single feeling, with every single definition, you change the wiring of your brain. And now, with the understanding and the introduction of this specific structure of belief, embedded through the holotopic experience, into the center of your receiver antenna brain, you now can have the opportunity to always allow there to be a doorway to the light, even in the darkest of hours, even in the most negative of beliefs. There will always be that tug and that pull to remind you that there is always a light at the end of that tunnel and to urge you to walk toward it. And to know that every moment is a new reality, a new you, utterly and totally defined by whatever definition you choose to buy into most strongly at that moment. And we remind you of your mechanisms of manifestation, making the invisible visible that is already here, and motivation, discovering what beliefs you have attached to the ideas of pleasure and pain. That these things are not things you have to learn, just things you have to clarify and use as tools. With your permission slips, you are now more capable, because you are new people, more capable than those people that were here a moment ago. More different, more clearly aligned, more clearly defined, with the higher mind in concert with the physical mind than the people that were here before. Those people are in another reality. It still exists, but they are not you, and you are not them. You are now who you define yourselves to be. Feel the difference in greater ways every day, and you will see and experience the immediateness of the shift from reality to reality by simply creating greater difference between them. Because there is already a total change with every change. And now, in keeping with the idea of the manifestation mechanism we described, by focusing and concentrating your intention, as you did in the holotopic experience, bringing your passion, your vibration of highest resonance into it, we now transfer to the other side of letting go, opening up, surrendering. Not thinking about it, changing the subject, going in a new direction, lightening up. Not worrying about it at all, letting the higher mind take care of it for you, letting the higher mind involve itself with the how your passion will manifest, of the how the synchronicity will present itself to you. This already works. You don't have to make it work. It's the nature of the structure of existence and creation itself. Let it work. Allow it to work. Relax. Let go. be at peace. To begin, changing the subject, lightening things up, we will, first and foremost, before we engage in questions, tell a story. So relax. Get comfy, as you say. If you wish, put on your ethereal pajamas. Have some astral cocoa. All right. And sit before your crackling etheric fire. Relax. Once upon a time, on my world, when I was first training to become a contact specialist, my father and my mother brought me before a group of very experienced contact specialists, 10 in all. They related to me, each and every one in his or her turn, their stories of their first contacts with other civilizations and what they learned from the experience, what they gained, how they grew, how differently they perceived the idea of creation by having experienced another facet of creation through the auspices of a completely different civilization, and how that reflected upon us and how we could look at ourselves in different ways. Throughout the course of a day, they related their stories to me and also to my counterpart, who many of you know as Anima. And as together she and I sat and listened and absorbed and imagined and visualized the scenarios that they were painting in our minds, bit by bit we realized they were also not only just telling stories, but handing over their experience energetically, allowing us to literally live emotionally, vibrationally, mentally, through those experiences, allowing us literally to taste, hear, see, touch, feel every sensation that they had experienced in those first contacts with other civilizations, priming us for the new civilizations we would encounter, such as your own. So that by the time it came time to encounter you, we would have a wealth of experience and knowledge to draw upon, to aid and assist you, and also to allow our interaction with you to aid and assist us in seeing ourselves relative to all the other civilizations, all the other facets of the multidimensional crystal of all that is, and giving us a deeper appreciation of our connection, of our relationship as family within creation, as parts of the all that is, as parts of the one, as expressions and reflections of each other. And at the end of that day, after we had absorbed those experiences in that way, we were then allowed to be by ourselves momentarily, alone. They all left, bid us, as you say, farewell, went on their way. Anima and I were simply by ourselves in what you would call a very natural setting of trees, of grass. And as we allowed ourselves to simply remain there quietly, absorbing all that we had learned, we began to realize that the stories were not over. For as we sat there, in that resonance, in that vibration, suddenly we received stories from the rocks and the trees and the animals and the sky and the water and the air. And everything our world had to offer in its consciousness, in supporting us as the mother of us, we received from her that day. to let us know that as we ventured out among the stars, we would always carry a piece of our own home world in our hearts. We would never be disconnected from her. And that as we make contact with other worlds, other beautiful gems in space such as yours, not only is it our personage that we present to you, but the entirety of the consciousness of our world, not just the people, but the planet and everything upon it, and everything within it, and everything that it is. So that our worlds are also communing vibrationally as we speak to you as people. Our respective planets are also speaking to each other through the timeless void of space and time. This communication is taking place on many levels, all at once, all now, and that is what we learned that day. So be it. Kenneth.
Yes.
Would you like to share your questions now?
Yes. Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was really glad that the guy this morning called you B.
Yes.
I like nicknames. They save so much time.
Yes.
Of course, you know, these days we recognize that as a dual-layer joke. The first layer being, of course, on the human level, where nicknames really don't save that much time. And on the metaphysical layer, we know that there is no such thing as time.
Yes.
So there's nothing to save anyway.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So, I have a metaphysical joke for you.
Oh, all right.
And I would appreciate it if you would get your people tuned into this.
Always.
Okay. So, you ready for the joke?
Yes.
How many Sasani does it take to change a light bulb?
Let me check. All right, we give up. How many?
None. Everything changes, so the light bulb changes on its own.
Oh, thank you. Thank you also for participating in lightening up the energy so that it is easier for individuals to let go and surrender.
Thank you. I appreciate your acknowledging that. At a previous channeling session, I say previous in quotes since it's all happening now anyway.
Thank you.
You talked about the games that you guys play on your world.
Yes.
And so I have a question about games. You say that your people are on average about 5 of our feet tall.
Yes.
So does that mean your basketball hoops are proportionately lower?
If we had basketball, they would be.
Yes. And of course, that's why it's funny for us, because we all know you don't play basketball there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although, not entirely true. Any time we make contact with a new world, there are usually at least a few of us who make an attempt to emulate some of the things of that world, including some of your games.
Mm-hmm.
So there have actually been a few that have attempted what you call basketball, baseball, and so forth.
Uh-huh. I'm getting the picture that the balls might be balls of energy rather than physical balls.
Not always. Sometimes we really wish to, as you say, get down and dirty and play like the natives. So that we can gain a thorough appreciation of the physicality that you experience in your reality when playing the game.
And do you appreciate it the way we do, or at least appreciate it in your sense?
Yes.
Yeah, good. You realize, Bashar, that going by the single name Bashar puts you kind of in a unique category that includes Cher and Madonna.
Yes.
Prince, yeah. Just thought I'd make.
Thank you.
Anyway, now to my question. I have been reading a series of books called the I Am Discourses,
Yes.
which are basically discourses given by Earth Ascended Masters, primarily Saint Germain.
Yes.
And they use the term I Am Presence.
Yes.
And the concept that they refer to, I believe, is the same as the concept that you refer to when you say higher self. My question is, are these two terms truly synonymous, or are they talking about a level or a span of frequency that's different from the span of frequency that you refer to when you say higher self?
It is the combination frequency. When we talk about the idea of the partnership and the relationship in perfect balance between the physical mind and the higher mind together, that can be referred to more precisely vibrationally in the way they mean it as the I Am Presence.
Okay. So there's kind of an overlap there.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The Ascended Masters are purported to have completely, I just about used the word conquered, but I really mean gained command over physical reality in all respects. They can materialize their bodies, as I understand it, dematerialize their bodies. And this would be a level of ability for humans that is quite extraordinary, that, as I understand it, is different from the level of reality or command over reality that you guys have. And I'm not trying to make a comparison for judgmental purposes, just so that we can see that as humans we can ascend to a level of truly complete command over our reality if that's what we choose.
Yes, and many individuals in my own society have that command.
Aha. Is there a particular reason why some do and some don't?
Yes. It depends on the path they have chosen, what it is they are teaching, what it is they have to reflect, and also to some degree the idea of what many individuals choose to do with remaining in certain levels that make it more conducive for them to interact with other beings of similar level.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that they are communicating by understanding and having this command of reality that someone who doesn't have that command is not communicating?
First of all, they are, as a vanguard in a sense, communicating to the entire society and constantly reflecting to them openly the potential that exists in all, so that we never forget that by having examples around us all the time.
Which is what our Ascended Masters do as well.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
There's
Bashar?
that temperature again.
Yeah. That's the end of my questions. Bashar, get out of my way. I'm coming through.
Shivai.
Shivai to you.
Thank you, K.
You're welcome, B.
We may continue now to divert ourselves with dialogue and questions, so that we may relax and surrender and know that as we dialogue on various subjects and as we discourse in that way as friends, bit by bit, all the things that you experienced in this three-part transmission will be more and more deeply sinking in, even as you don't think about them at all.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I just want to thank you so much.
One moment. All right.
I wanted to thank you so much. I saw you probably a year and a half ago at the quantum physics workshop that you did, and my life has just been a series of miracles and synchronistic events, and it's been so much fun. And
Well, thank you for creating your life to be that.
Thank you. At that workshop, you had mentioned that there was these ships in the sky. They were stars. They would look like stars. They were blue and red and white, and they would strobe. And you said that those were the motherships. And I was incredibly excited to spot them, and I did. And I see them all the time, and I wanted to ask you if those, other people tell me, like, they're just stars. That's what stars do. They strobe like that. And
Sometimes that is what they are.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you are able to pierce into other dimensional frequencies, you can see that there are other things there. It is simply a matter of having discernment to tell the difference.
Okay. a year ago at the Burning Man Festival,
Yes.
I would say my highest excitement at that time was to make contact with a UFO. And I meditated on it for several months before I went to the festival. And when I got there, I saw stars flying in the sky. And so did several of my friends. And it was really exciting. And then one particular night, it seemed as if the planet Jupiter flew across the sky.
No.
And there were several of us who obviously it wasn't the planet Jupiter. It was
Thank
something
you.
else. It looked like maybe it was parked in front of Jupiter, but definitely a very bright object that was pretending to be Jupiter that evening flew very dramatically across the sky. And about 10 of my friends saw it, and it was
All right.
incredibly exciting.
All
and
right.
I don't know what to make of that.
What do you need to make of it?
I'm curious from your perspective what it was that we actually saw and how it manifested itself in that manner.
There will always be, in a sense, observations made and observations allowed to test the level of ability that you have as beings to pierce the veil into other dimensional frequencies and see things that otherwise you would not be capable of perceiving. So many of these are simply, in that sense, barometers to allow us to know and others to know what level of frequency you happen to be operating at in that particular scenario, so that we can, in that sense, gauge and understand what different scenarios allow you to do as permission slips to take yourself to different levels, and what, by taking yourself to those different levels, you are capable of perceiving.
Okay.
For we will know when you can see us, and we will know when you cannot.
Interesting.
And that will go into a large pool of understanding and knowledge about how ready your species and your planet is for further contact.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
So you can make that of it if you wish.
I shall. Thank
All
you. Another question. I have a negative blood type, and I've wanted to ask you this for a while. I've read about it, and I've tried to understand where it comes from. And I'm curious, from your perspective, what if I incarnated into this body at this time, space, reality, with this particular blood type for a particular reason?
Of course.
And I was
You
wondering-
always make these choices. There are always aspects of what you choose to experience as an incarnation that play into the theme that you chose to explore. Again, the question is, what do you make of it? What does it turn your mind to? What does it focus you on? When you create symbols for yourself in your reality, it is usually reflective of some aspect of the theme that you are exploring in this life. For example, the channel's blood type is B positive. Catch my drift?
Yes.
Does that help? Yes, no, maybe.
A little bit.
All
I was
right.
wondering if you could explain a little bit where it comes from and
As we have recently said, humanity is a mix of a variety of genetic types, the idea being that some of it is extraterrestrial in origin. So in that you have these mixed up genetics, some of the issues of blood type are connected to that, and some of them are also representative of the indigenous stock of the hominid that evolved naturally on the planet. But at this point in time, as you call time, at this point in your evolution, at this point in your day and age, it all simply functions right now as a symbol in the sense of whatever it is that it turns your mind to most strongly is usually a reflective indication of a theme that you are exploring, and that's the way to utilize it, in our opinion, at this time.
okay.
All right.
Yes. And I have one last question. It's a little odd question.
Oh, an
It's something-
odd question as opposed to an even question. Yes, well,
Exactly.
it's question 3. I guess that makes it odd. All right.
Okay. I've been studying a lot of mythology,
Yeah.
and the stories are really fascinating. I can see how they're all related across, the Bible and Egypt and
Yes,
whatever.
yes, yes.
And there's a story of Samson, and the strength was in his hair.
Yes.
And it got me wondering if we hold our wisdom in our hair. And
Not literally.
Not literally. And what it is, why, is there a thought form that manifests as no hair in men? and no offense to our channel, obviously.
I don't have any hair either.
I told you it was a strange question, but I was curious,
It's a
why is that
case-by-case basis,
why men
and it
in our
will also
culture-
depend upon when the symbol appears archetypally in your history in terms of what the symbols mean to that particular culture at that particular time. It isn't always across the board for every single era and every single epoch that the symbols mean the same things or are representative of the same things. In that context, the idea really was self-image. The strength was in how he saw himself. Hair being a representation to many people on your planet of their image. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, it was a lesson in the idea of regardless of what you are going through, it is the image you hold of yourself that will actually carry you through. And when the hair was cut, what that is a euphemism for is somebody, in a sense, offering him a reality where he chose to accept it as a diminishment of his self-image. But once he regained his self-image, once his hair grew back, he regained his strength. But it's an issue of self-image. You follow?
I do.
So, the idea now, in terms of not having hair, is the idea, in a sense, that image isn't so important anymore, that it is, in that sense, the idea of being, shall we say, naked to the world. Do you understand?
I do.
All right. Does that help?
It does. Is there a reason why in our culture right now that there's the gender difference in men and women? Why? I mean, why does that manifest in that way?
Well, you are still dealing, as many civilizations do, with various issues of polarity. And the idea will continue for quite a while in your civilization, even as it still to some degree continues in ours, even though we are becoming more homogeneous and becoming less physical. There is still the expression of the polarity to some degree, because there are still themes of polarity to explore on that level in your reality.
And when you say polarity, you mean hair and no hair? I'm confused.
I am speaking now of what you just said about the idea of male and female.
Right. But I'm saying, why is it that men in our culture tend to, it's usually not a pleasant thing when this happens to men in our culture, and I'm wondering why it manifests that way as a gender difference.
Vulnerability. The males require more vulnerability. You understand?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right. You're all so shy and withdrawn. Let us begin by reminding you that as it stands now, the probabilities of full disclosure and open contact are between now and your year of 2027. And to allow you to focus on the idea, as we explained in the last transmission, that the focusing on your year of 2027 is not simply a prediction, but something that allows you to focus on that energy, to focus on that probability, to navigate yourselves in that direction, and to manifest that as the highest probability that will come to pass. So it is something that you are actively involved in, creating to happen. So, Allow yourselves to focus on the idea of 2027, not just as a prediction, but as something you can be actively involved in focusing on, bringing about, actively manifesting that probability into your reality in an experiential way. Feel the reality of it. Feel it crystallizing around you day by day. You have invited us. We have accepted your invitation. So, let the party begin.
Hey, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Exciting to talk to you.
And you as well.
So it feels unsettling to me to think that even negative expressions like violence, inconsideration, or rudeness are still God knowing itself.
Everything is God knowing itself. Everything.
So
there are lessons in everything. It's like saying there's a stream and there's a current in the stream, and I can choose to swim upstream against the current. Does that mean the current is still not God? No. The current is part of the river. So you can choose to swim upstream against the current, or you can go with the flow, with the current. Which do you prefer? Can you learn a lesson by going upstream? Yes, you might develop stronger muscles by swimming upstream. And therefore, you will be stronger when you finally let go and flow downstream. So even what appears to be negative can still be something that will aid and assist you by learning a lesson that will help you grow. Yes?
I struggle with that because...
You're struggling because you're swimming upstream.
I guess my question is, what place does integrity, goodness, service to others have in life? Why do we have to choose to do good?
You don't have to choose it. But let me explain it this way. Speaking of the idea of current. As we have explained, there is the positive, there is the negative, but there is the neutral. Reality is a trinity, not a duality. There's always the neutral place in the center. But the neutral place in the center still allows you the freedom to choose what you prefer. So in a sense, euphemistically, you could say that creation is 51% positive and 49% negative. So the idea is that if you simply relax and go with the current, you will ultimately drift into the positive side. But the idea is, if you understand that you may have chosen to come through the negative side to learn the lesson, that you can simply let go and drift into the positive side naturally, then you will have used the negative side in a way that is actually resulting in a positive outcome. So again, the idea is just to look at these things mechanically. It's not a value judgment. We understand that you can express the idea on your planet in violent ways, in ways that aren't necessarily condoning the idea of perpetuating life. We understand that. But again, a soul can sometimes learn in a much more accelerated way by putting themselves in a situation where they are immersed in something that is so dark, so dense, that when they finally let go of that, they will fly that much faster into the light. We call this the rubber band analogy. Because the farther back you pull a rubber band, when you finally let it go, it snaps that much faster in the other direction. And so sometimes souls can use the negative energy, the negative mechanism, to steep themselves in such negativity that when the soul finally says, all right, I have learned all the lessons I can about this being a vibration that is not necessarily in alignment with what I ultimately prefer to be and who I really am, and they finally let go of it, then they will snap that much faster and that much farther into the light, into the flow. So you can use it that way. It's there available to you if you want to do it that way. Because source is everything and all possibilities, and it doesn't judge or devalue anything within itself. It's just a mechanism. It's not a value judgment. Only humans decide this is good or bad. Remember, you are ultimately eternal and indestructible souls. So, in a sense, it's like looking at a play on a stage and going, oh, there's the hero and there's the villain, and they're playing their parts, and they're in conflict with one another. But when the play is done, they go out and have a beer together because they're actually friends. And they're just playing a role. And without the darkness, you cannot see the light as clearly, because the darkness frames the light.
So if it is all like a role play, kind of good and bad in a sense,
yes,
then there's no incentive to be good in a sense.
There is an incentive, and that is, as I said earlier, to actually allow yourself to feel the ease of creation in going with the flow and the current of the 51% that goes in that direction, so that you can enlighten yourself literally.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
Thank you.